Okay, so before I start the actual explanation, I quickly have to show off the settings I've been running with. I got a GeForce RTX 3070 Ti, and I'm running it with NVIDIA DLSS in performance mode, and I have all of the settings on the lowest possible setting except texture filtering and lighting, because I kind of forgot to change those. But in the preview video, I'm running around with these settings. The reason I'm running around with such low settings is the whole reason why the build is called why this build is a benchmark build, because the explosions really tear up your screen and it really does tank performance. That's why I've been running all of this in low. I've tried running it in quality and it is just a slideshow. You are playing a PowerPoint presentation and it's not really enjoyable. I would love to see if somebody would want to replicate this build, what it would look like for them on a really high-end PC. I think my PC is good, but it just can't handle this, not yet at least. So yeah, I would be pretty interested in that, and if anyone tries out, it would be cool to see. And yeah, on to the explanation. Hello, so this is my video on my build, the Doedre's Undoing Mjölner build, where with the Thundergod's Wrath I keep proccing Elemental Weakness. In the preview video, you probably saw what I was doing on map, and the other thing I was doing was the ritual boss. I put it on 2x speed because it is a little bit unbearable to watch in normal time. The build is not anything that is like, I wouldn't say it's super strong. I do get through all of the content though, but it takes a while. This is basically just, it's a benchmark build because you cannot, I don't think, it's not really great to run through normal maps. It is a little bit of a dopamine rush when you see all the big explosions, but I can't really recommend it as something you would want to like constantly play. So to start off with, I'm going to show my gear. I also wanted to say, I don't know if I'm saying Doedre's Undoing correctly, so sorry if I'm butchering that name. So yeah, here, Mjölner. I use 2 Mjölner clubs. My initial idea was that with Mjölnir, I really like the Thundergod's Wrath skill. I wanted to make a build around that, and I thought, whoa, it would be so cool because you trigger socketed lightning spells when you gain energies. When you gain energy, the energy you gain depends on like the damage you do with melee attacks. So you can only do it with melee attacks. And since this is a mace, you would have to do one-handed mace attacks. So yeah, my original plan was doing something with lightning ward, but I think it was incredibly boring. I didn't like it too much. But yeah, that's what I decided on doing. 2 Mjolnirs, they have an insane, if you might see an insane attributes requirement. I'll talk about that in a minute. But to just save, like here, I use 2 Mjolnirs to have 2 Thundergod's Wraths to double proc the Doedre's Undoing. You might notice that I have this in here twice, and Lineage gems actually have a limit of 1. You can't have more than 1 Lineage gem, like socketed. You might also see that here, Rickwald's Ferocity, I have socketed twice as well. That is because I'm using the Grand Visage Solus Ipse, which allows my equipment and skill gems. You can socket 2 additional copies of each lineage support gem. So theoretically, I could even have a third Rickwald's. At the time I got this, the Rickwolds, I got them at league start, kind of like I think 2 or 3 weeks in, when they were kind of cheap. I think they're like 300 div now. They're incredibly expensive, so I don't know if you could build this anymore. I'm also making this build at the end of the league because this video at the end of the league, because I had this build for I don't know. I stopped playing after 1 month or 2 months into the league when I've done everything that I wanted to do, but I wanted to make a build video on it now because I don't think I'll attempt it again. Once it moves to standards and the nerfs to energy come, I don't think it will be that good anymore if it was good in the first place. So yeah, that's why I'm doing this now, to show it off, which might also mean that I have some information that isn't like fully to correct anymore, because I've just loaded up PoE again to try some quicker league starts, and I remembered that I wanted to do a video on this. So I'm sorry if the information I'm giving is not 100% correct or, yeah, well thought out. So yeah, I'm using the two Mjolnirs. One thing that you'll notice when you look at the Grand Visage is that equipment and skill gems have 25% increased attribute requirements. For me, for this to work, I needed to get the corruption that it has 20% increased attribute requirements, which there were quite a few at the start. I don't think they were that expensive. I don't know how it's looking now, but this was pretty affordable. Also, you can see the increased area of effect gem that I have in here. That is very important. Area of effect is the most important stat in this build. I'm also using the Chayula monk ascendancy. I'll get to that in a minute. But what I do here is on my chest, all of my equipment isn't really that great because this was my last character, and at some point I just couldn't be um, asked to do like build this out properly. But yeah, I use energy shield, as you can see here. And yeah, the rings are basically used to get some damage. Chaos damage on the rings is very important because that's what scales Doedre is on doing. And you get, I got for myself, mana was pretty good, but honestly, just capping my resistances. You might also see that I don't have the cold resistance cap. That was kind of a goof up, and I don't really know how to get that anymore. So yeah, on the amulet, it was important to get all attributes. That was incredibly important, and strength. I crafted this one myself, I remember, and all I really went for was defenses, just getting my defenses up, more energy shield. The attributes are really important. The level of melee skills is good. It's not that important. Our main damage comes from Doedre's Undoing, but it's still good. And I went for increased strength. Again, I'll show in a moment. I went for a Headhunter because I couldn't really find anything else. And yeah, the other equipment, the skill gem, I mean the gems that I've socketed, they are what they are. What's important is the Thundergod's Wrath level from the Mjolnir. I would have loved to have the level 20 Thundergod's Wrath. That, however, was incredibly expensive. I didn't really know how to farm that properly. I think you get it through as Merry Spirits or just like as a random global drop, but I have not gotten one drop once. And the chances, I think it definitely it depends on like the item level it drops on. But yeah, level 19 is the highest one I could afford. I wanted to get level 20s, but at the when I started doing this build, I think one Mjolnir was like 300 div with like just the level 20 without even the skill level down there, which is also incredibly important. And I just, yeah, it was too expensive for me. And I think right now it's just a mirror if you want a level 20 Thundergod's Wrath. Why it's important for the level 20 and higher level is that you get the sockets. With one more socket, I could have done a lot more, but again, way too expensive. What I socketed in here is chaos damage, which is very important. I also twice corrupted it, which gave me rage on hit, which is it's okay. I didn't really get that great stuff, but what I focused on was getting this maxed out. The lightning skills, attack speed is important too, but the physical damage and the lightning skills is the most important part. Same goes with this. If you're lucky, you might even get reduced attribute requirements, but you would from the corrupt, but you would need to get it on both weapons because otherwise you will still have the stat requirement for one of them. So I didn't really get that, and it still worked out. But the attributes are definitely something that are a big problem. So what I socketed here was just damage is extra chaos, which is important, and 5% is extra damage of all elements. These are the best ones I can find. If one of you guys makes this build and finds a better way, I would love to know. But yeah, both of them level 19 Thundergod's Wrath. So why is this important? Because Thundergod's Wrath gives is level 27. That is really important. I think the level, what the level does, as far as I know, is just up the energy gained. I have no idea how to get quality on the skill gems that are from weapons, so I would love to know if somebody figures that out. But what's really important is just the general level. So I have level 19, and from the global modifiers, I get plus 8 levels from the global modifiers, which is from the lightning skills here. So what um, is important about the very high level is not only the energy gain, but also the only spell you can socket in here, which you can trigger, which you can trigger, which is a curse, as far as I know, as of now, is elemental weakness. So elemental weakness, the only one I could put in here. I couldn't put in like despair or anything for the chaos damage. It's only elemental weakness that I could put in here. Nothing else will trigger because nothing else is considered a lightning spell and not a curse. So yeah, elemental weakness, and the higher the level, which now it's 26, the higher the curse radius. The elemental resistance curse thing, it doesn't matter. The magnitude, I have quality on these, or not even on this one, because it doesn't really matter. And it's very important to have spell cascade. In the starting video, you'll see that the spell cascade is incredibly important because it creates free areas, and it makes it so when we have enough area of effect that they overlap. You want to have as much area of effect that you can, so you can overlap it. What you could also do is have the least amount of area of effect that you can have, but then it won't look as impressive and it's no longer um, a good screen clear. And yeah, the most important piece of the puzzle is the Doedre's undoing, which works. It creates two cursed grounds, and the moment you like jump down with Thundergod's Wrath, the areas that get created from the elemental weakness immediately erupt, because you keep creating new ones, erupting the old ones, and if enemies are in those, they get like blown up. You will, as I said, you see that in the video in the start. And Doedre's Dark Design works. The damage scaling is going off of like levels. So the level 27, for example, has a really good damage scaling, um, because it is very hard to scale Doedra's Dark Design. I tried a few things. It can crit, which is interesting, but I didn't go for crit really. And yeah, you can do I will show how to scale this in the passive tree, but it is very important. The Doedre's Dark Design goes off the skill level from the skill it is socket into. Since that is Thundergod's Wrath, it's not going off of elemental weakness, it's going off of Thundergod's Wrath, which is level 27. Now, if I had level 20 in here with even another skill socket, with um, maybe a +1 levels of all skill gems, that would be another like big increase in damage, but yeah, I couldn't get to level 20. And yeah, the explosion from the cursed ground is really good and basically the main damage of this build. And I use energy retention just so I can proc it more often. I'm sure there's something that you can get more damage with, but it's the dopamine rush I'm going for with these. For this other skill gems I use to proc it, I try to get a lot of attack speed. So you'll see that I'm using weapon socket 1, and with Rigwald's ferocity, I get increased attack speed. If I had it on my second weapon slot, I would get 30% more damage. But the problem is, my attacks would take too long. And if you watch the start of the video, it is very easy for me if I don't get my casts off or my attacks that I get stunned out of what I've been doing. So I use this to just compensate for that and just make me attack quicker. That's also why I'm using Rage, Rage Free, and Rapid Attacks. More damage would definitely mean more triggers, but I need to be able to attack in the first place because you are incredibly slow if you do not have attack speed. I mean, I can showcase real quick how fast I would attack. It would take way too long, which would just stun me. So this um, is definitely quicker. Once I have more rage, like full rage, it also gives me more attack speed. And yeah, I mostly use Sunder. Volcanic Fissure I use as a start, and then just use this to reproc the Volcanic Fissures. Sometimes I can't do that in groups, so I just keep spamming Sunder. I also use the jump attack, the Leap Slam, but Leap Slam is not great because you get yourself in very uncomfortable positions. And Perfect Strike I use before bosses to get this buff up on the top, where I get more damage per perfection that I have. So every time during the perfect strike, you saw it here, I lost it. If I hit the perfect window, I get the stack, and that gives me even more damage. And when I'm actually fighting a boss, all I do is hold left click. This is the quickest way to. It's a bit ridiculous, but it's the best way for bosses to just proc as many fields as possible, as quickly as possible, and yeah, the gain increased spell damage on heavy stunning. It's probably better if I took anything else. I don't really remember what I did here back in the day. 3 months ago. But yeah, this is the thing I use. So you might see the purple flames. That's because I'm using the Chayula monk. I've tried other ascendancies. I tried warrior ascendancy with stuff, but with the aftershocks, but that didn't really do anything for me. And to actually have the defenses to be able to stand in these crowds, because I don't do the most damage and I'm just building up the energy, what I use is the Chayula monk because of the darkness. The darkness is basically like a, I guess you could see it like as an energy health pool, energy shield health pool that just regens every once in a while. And that helps me a lot with sustain. And the second thing that's the most important, I would say, is the Waking Dream into the breach. Into the breach thing, because I get these purple flames. And if you look here, I can actually show on the skill tree. If I hold Alt over like a Chaos node, maybe this one isn't the best one. Here you see Doedre's Dark Design. I'm currently got 8.5k. Maybe if I don't have any remnants, I can show it better. Okay, right now I have very little remnants. Usually I think I'm sitting at around 7k, yeah, 6.2k. Now if I actually have 10 remnants, that's one of the very few ways I've found out how to scale this, is that I've just doubled the damage of the Doedre's Dark Design. And when you're running around the maps, you will just constantly be picking these up. So it's very important to just constantly try to scale everything with chaos damage. So for the skill tree, it's a bit of a mess. It can definitely be like perfected. I am also level 89. So there's a lot more I could be getting out of the skill tree, but there's not a lot of time left in this league, and I don't really want to farm maps right now, not anymore, to level up. But yeah, the skill tree, I will link my path of building in the description. But what's really important, what's really difficult to get, was the intelligence and strength requirement, because the strength requirement is 200. It's 100 for the strength and 200 for the int. And I needed, I don't remember what exactly for, but I needed 260 strength for. Oh yeah, here. Sorry, this is added requirements. So 260 strength and 240 int, which was pretty difficult to get in a way where I can also get all of the nodes, because this also ups all, like, equipment and skill gems all have increased attribute requirements. Normally, if you weren't playing with this helmet and you only were using one Mjölner, it would be fine. But I wanted to do the double thing, and it's a lot of requirements. So in a skill tree, what I thought was very important was the skill speed. The attack, skill speed, whatever, is incredibly important just so you get your hits off. It takes really long to, if I don't have any of these nodes, usually I would just die because I couldn't even hit quick enough. So I have a lot of nodes, or a few nodes, not a lot, but a few nodes that give me attack speed, which is pretty important. What's also important, is incredibly important actually, is this cluster. This cluster is, I've made myself this sapphire with um, area of effect and increased area of effect for curses with the notables, and it's important to also get the increased effect of notables, because for this I get 6%. Actually, I think I just get 1 extra percent. It might not be that important, but for each of these nodes I get 10% increased area of effect for the curse. So right now I would be getting 7 times, yeah, I would get 70% area of effect just for this. The skill tree in general doesn't have that much area of effect. It's also good to start on the monk side because he can go up to all of the chaos nodes, which is nice. And yeah, this was very important. It was also really important to get the from Nothing Diamond, where I can skill around Resonance because of Event Horizon with the Chaos damage. It does like 1k for Doedre's. Trusting this tooltip is not the best idea, considering uh, that I don't think it always calculates it correctly. And unfortunately, in Path of Building, there's no way for me to see. I mean, maybe there is, and I was just blind, but I have no clue how I would see in the Path of Building how to up my damage for the Dark Design skill. Then next I use spaghettification for all attributes. I mean, I think that makes sense because of the chaos damage as well. Then what I use here is the Impending Doom for the faster curse activation. That is really important. The curses magnitude doesn't matter at all. It really doesn't matter. I deal a little bit of elemental damage, but what's most important is the curse activation. Then I also have extra chaos damage. Then, since it's a trigger skill, this the energize node is incredibly important. The energize node for me does a lot. It chance for skills for trigger skills to refund half of your energy spent. And since it is a spell, my next level, for example, would have been in this, because triggered skill dealing 40% increased spell damage. That also works for Doedre's Dark Design. As far as I'm aware, I've tested this a few times. If I just look at increased spell area damage, this doesn't do anything. If I looked at just increased spell damage, and that does affect Doedre's Dark Design. You just have to, I don't know, figure that out, I guess. I'm also using a Heart of the Well. This one does a lot for me. The one rage on melee hit is fine. The extra damage is good. Then more int nodes. Energy shield is very important to keep me alive. Then the void one is really important. Enemies you curse have minus 3% to chaos res, which is really nice because yeah, it's chaos damage. What's also the most important thing I would say is zone of control, because if you skill this, you get 4 area of effect nodes for curses, and the hinder is also pretty nice. There is ways to also apply with it. I think I apply with it. Unfortunately, I don't really remember where that's coming from. Yeah, maybe here somewhere. I don't know. But I do apply with it when I looked into the replay, and I did see that I was applying with it. And here, up here, I have the Heroic Tragedy duel, the Timeless Duel. This one, I just use it for this, for the Black Scythe training. So no inherent bonuses from strength. I would get a little bit of life from the strength that I have. It really wasn't that much. And I traded for 1% increased energy shield per 2 strength, which is really, really good. It's like 1.6k energy shield that this gave me. And the dependable ward is really good for the recharge. More increased area of effect, which is important. And over here, this is a dead end. I wanted to go for the jewel socket so I could either get a Megalomaniac, but I wouldn't really know what to put into the Megalomaniac or the other jewel that would allocate passive skill points. I'm not sure if the Megalomaniac is the one that gives me the passive skills, the notables, or yeah, I don't know. What's important is the attributes. It is very hard to reach that requirement, and yeah, I would love to know how I could make this even better. I've tried a lot of things. I think I've actually run 2 characters plus this monk through the campaign to try out how to make this work, and this was the best I could come up with. And yeah, I think that's everything. If I missed something, like if something doesn't make sense, let me know. But yeah, that's the build. Triggering everything with Thundergod's Wrath, the elemental weaknesses. Yeah, hope you enjoyed.